Hello, friends. So we are going to go over what you are to do this week for third grade. I'm so excited. We're finally able to begin our transition to the SLP. So excited for you guys. This is a great opportunity. I'm looking forward to working with you in the SLP. Like, I can't contain myself. So I'm going to show you step by step how this is going to roll. I'm like rocking the computer. I'm so excited. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. All right. So, first things first, I know everyone has gone into the SLP, so you should know this step, but just as a review, we go to the home page, we go to CPDLF Students, Summit Learning Platform. Now, I am viewing as a student so that you can look through your own eyes, essentially. All right, so I'm not afraid to show off in a student view because we don't have anything put in yet, but once we do, if I need to show you something through a student view, I will use a demo. So it might look a little different, but for now, since there's nothing up, I'm not sharing any personal information, so this is fine. So whenever we open the SLP, this is the first thing you see. It's your week view. And it says, get ready for your next mentoring check-in. Every week, leading up to our check-in, be that if we check in on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Fridays, either the night before or the morning of, I'd like you to come in and click this begin pre-work. And it's just like a little information, how's classes going this week, what questions do you have, and then the summit will send it to me so I can look over it before we even have our check-ins. I have some topics in mind that we should go over. So it's really cool. Please use that. Also, you can see we have our classes lined out. So we have ELA free, that's English, which we've been working in on the Google Classroom. Same here, it's math. Science, we're finally getting into some science. Social studies, you'll have Mrs. Noonan, and she'll be reaching out to you shortly. And check-in, this is just a course for me to keep notes in about our check-in, so you can just ignore that. But if you see, you can click add goal, and this is where I would like you to start. Try to have at least one goal a day in here. So you don't have to have 5 goals for English per se, but you should have a goal for each day of the week. And you can spread those out between these. So I'd like to see 5 days a week, something on here, as well as a goal for each course. If you're not following me, just check back in with me on that. But write down like what you plan to accomplish in those classes, like a to-do list. So this is our week view, and that's right here. We're going to go to our year view. Now this is where you'll access your projects. And as you can see, it's like, holy moly, there's so much to do. Don't freak out. I'm going to keep us where we need to be, so do not panic. So up here on our top, I point like you can see me. We have, this is English, and Go the Distance Origami Jumping Frogs. It's the first project. So if we click on that, we'll go into our first project. And same with math down here, but math is called a unit. We're doing designing a park, science, engineer, a new invention, and then social studies with Mrs. Noonan, you'll do City of Death, drawing a 3D cityscape. And then we have power focus areas and additional focus areas. Okay, what are these? Well, power focus areas are required. So you do this in addition to your tasks in your project. And the power focus areas help you prepare and enhance your knowledge for what you're working on in your project. So we are going to be completing those this week so we can get kind of like our toe wet. I know I've been saying that, but we're going to like get maybe up to our ankle now and just try to immerse ourselves in the summit. And then by next week, we can move on and jump full into a project. So for this week, I would like you to work on 3 power focus areas: opinion writing, place value, and physical properties of matter. And I'll write these down, so don't worry. But I'd like you to do those 3. And then if you finish those, you can do the additional focus areas, which are like a bonus. They boost up your grade, but they're not required. But I would love for you to do these because these ones are the fun ones. It's like Art of Japan, Data Analysis, Element of Design, Space. So for this week's assignments, you are required to work on those 3 power focus areas, and I'd like you to try to do the 3 additional focus areas. Now I'm going to open up the English one so we can look at what this power focus area will look like. Finish for later. Go away, please. Okay, I don't know why that won't go away, so please just ignore it. It's really annoying. All right, so we're going to start. You will take a diagnostic assessment. This is like a pre-test to see what you know. And it will tell you at the end, so let's say I take the test and I get a 3 out of 5. It will tell me which 3 questions I got correct and which objectives they relate to, and then which 2 I got incorrect and which objectives they relate to. So if I were to, let's say I answered questions for objectives 1, 2, and 3 correctly. Well, I would still want to review the materials in here, but maybe I won't put too much attention on them. Whereas, let's say I got 2 questions wrong for objective 4. I should really practice with that. Let me see, get some extra practice in there. And if you click on the objective, there are activities, videos, readings, writings, things for you to work on to become accustomed to this objective. And what I request of you is that before you ask to take the content assessment, which is the test, this is what you'll get scored on, this is the grade that Summit will get. I would like you to take the diagnostic assessment, set at least 1 goal on that goal page that we just talked about on the focus area. So say review notes for objective 4, for example. And I want you to go through these objectives and study, take notes, work through them. So before you even request a content assessment, I want you to do those 3 things. And I will know that you did these 3 things because whenever you hit request, it will come up on my end and say, student A requested a content assessment. And it will show me if you took the diagnostic and what score you got. It will show me if you set a goal in that area, and it will show me if you what materials you have reviewed. So if I do not see those 3 things, I will deny your content assessment and ask you to go back and do those things. If I see those 3 things, I will accept your content assessment so you can take it. And once I unlock it, it's open 24/7, so you can do that anytime. I only approve content assessments at 8:15 and 3:15 Monday through Friday. So if you send me a request for a content assessment at noon on Monday, I will approve it at 3:15 on Monday. If you send me a content assessment request at 11 p.m. on Saturday, I will not fill that request until Monday morning. That's very important. I'm not ignoring you. Those are just the times that it happens. I apologize, my sister's being silly. Okay, so taking the content assessments, you can take those twice. So let's say you take it and you don't get the score that you'd like. You have to get an 8 out of 10 to pass. Let's say you get a 7 out of 10. Don't freak out. Go back, study on the areas you missed, and then submit another request, and I will take care of it. If you take a content assessment twice and you need to take it a third time because let's say you got a 7 out of 10 again, then you need to send me your notes. So I'd like to see a copy of your notes. What did you do? Did you write them out? How did you practice? How did you study? And so we can work on that so we can make sure that your third time you pass. And we'll just keep going from there. But I'd like everyone to try to get it in 2. So I'm talking about note taking. Well, maybe we haven't had any practice in notes. Listen, it's okay. What you can do is go over here to resources, learning strategies, and study and take notes. There is a resource here that teaches you how to take outline notes. There's one here for taking Cornell notes and one for taking notes on video resources. I would recommend the outline notes because Cornell notes is it's very helpful, but it's a bit advanced. I did not learn how to take Cornell notes till college. So by all means, please look at that resource and use that. But just a heads up, if you have never taken notes before, a great place to start out would be the outline notes. And the notes on video resources is also very helpful because that will show you the best ways to take notes as you're watching a video because it's a tasking thing. I cannot talk today. I apologize. So that's very helpful. And let me see. So how this is going to play out. I believe I've only heard from one of you about your scavenger hunts. So your scavenger hunts are due this Tuesday, the 24th by midnight. I gave you an extra week since we didn't get into the summit right away like we were supposed to. So they are due Tuesday at midnight. That is a must. And then you have to hands off. Don't touch a thing until I look at that and give you approval to move on. So if you submit the scavenger hunt at 11:59 on Tuesday, I will look it over Wednesday morning. Do not get into summit until I say, okay, you can move on. Okay? And then when I say, okay, you can move on, this is when you can work on those free focus areas that I talked about. And that's when you'll take your steps for each of the free: diagnostic, goals, study, submit a request, take the content assessment, and repeat as needed. Then once you have all free power focuses done, all free, you will send me a message. I'm going to put one up in Google Classroom saying I've completed all free. I will look it over. Then I will give you the okay. And that means you can start working on your first projects. I will fully release you into the summit, but we have to meet those steps. You can't move on to the focus areas until you've done the scavenger hunts and got approval. You can't move on to the projects until you've done the power focus areas and gotten approval. Those are my rules. I want to make sure that you are as prepared as you can be before going into the summit, because for those of you who have started your scavenger hunts, I'm sure you've noticed it's a rabbit hole. There's many ways to get lost. I don't want to leave any of my friends behind, so I want us to start out on a great foot so that we're comfortable and confident going into this. So please follow those steps. If you have any questions, please contact me. Also, I will be sending out a survey and like you to answer that as soon as possible so we can see about setting up a live Zoom to go over our book in a bag projects. All right. Have a good one, and we'll keep in touch. So excited.